You're watching ABC 7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Thanks for joining us here for ABC 7 News at 4. We are looking at, again, very warm temperatures. We had a little bit of a cool spell over the weekend, just a little bit, and now the heat index near 100 degrees again this afternoon. It's 87 out there. The dew point's high at 77, and the heat goes on across the state. 90 degrees now in Tallahassee, 91 in Orlando, and around town temperatures in the low 90s, right near the water, a little bit cooler. Cortez at 84. That's simply because we have a little sea breeze that has developed, not much of one. 89 in Venice and 87 in Inglewood. Here's the headlines as they read. The near record high temperatures through Wednesday. We're expecting highs in the low 90s each and every day. We have a backdoor cold front coming in on Thursday, which will cool us down just a little bit. And then again, summer conditions will continue as quickly as Monday, so not much of a cool spell. Here's what's going on with the radar picture. Not much to show you as far as rain goes. Our rain chances will be increasing, but that doesn't happen really until that front comes down through our area, and that'll happen more so on Thursday. As far as the wind flow, it's out of the east and southeast. As I mentioned, a little sea breeze could develop every afternoon, but that'll be pinned right near the coast, and it won't be around all that long. So a nice steady east wind. Good news for any kind of red tide if it's back at all anywhere. And we will look at the tropics. Yes, we're watching another area down south. It's a tropical disturbance. Reconnaissance aircraft could investigate this area as soon as tomorrow, depending upon its development overnight. It looks rather healthy on the satellite imagery. Well, much more on that, and take a look at the rest of the week's forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Jacqueline Scott.
All right, Bob, thank you. The search continues for survivors of Hurricane Michael as rescuers say they expect the death toll to rise.
President Trump is in the Panhandle viewing some of the devastation that's been left behind as tens of thousands of businesses and homes are still waiting to get their power restored. Camila Bernal is in Panama City where President Trump and the First Lady toured.
Just making sure everyone's safe, that they're fed. You know, many of these people have no home. Some of them have no trace of a home.
5 days after much of the Florida Panhandle was torn apart by Hurricane Michael, President Trump is in the state to see it firsthand. Joined by the First Lady and Florida Governor Rick Scott, the president first took an aerial tour of the devastation. From there, the Trumps went to a distribution center to help pass out supplies.
The governor of Florida, Rick Scott, has done an unbelievable job.
Thousands across the region are relying on donations and government assistance for necessities like food, water, and shelter, and several are still missing. FEMA-approved transitional sheltering assistance for families in Bay County, Florida, one of the hardest hit areas. This will provide survivors short-term lodging if their homes or communities have been destroyed. Residents of 10 other counties are also eligible for individual assistance.
Damage is so widespread. We've registered over 20,000 people already in individual assistance within FEMA.
And Trump has pledged the areas impacted will have all the help they need to get their communities back up and running. In Panama City, I'm Camila Bernal.
Some victims of Hurricane Michael are evacuating to other areas of Florida, including here on the Sun Coast.
One former Sarasota resident and now living in Panama City has been without running water and electricity for days now. He's here on the Sun Coast until conditions improve. Our own ABC 7's Erica Jackson spoke with him this afternoon. Now, Erica, tell us about what he's been experiencing.
Yeah, Jacqueline Scott, good evening. Hurricane Michael brought rain, wind, and flooding to our area, but that is nothing compared to the storm's impact along the Florida Panhandle. One former Sarasota resident named Harry Fager, he's now living in Panama City, and he braved the storm from his living room and captured video of debris hitting his windows and the choppy seas during the peak of the storm. He says he could feel his condo building vibrate and hear the waves crashing more than 30 feet away. Coming up tonight on ABC 7 News at 6, we will hear from that evacuee himself, and we will share why he chose to evacuate to Sarasota after Hurricane Michael made his mark. Reporting live along Sarasota's Bayfront, Erica Jackson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Erica, thank you. Food is in desperate need in parts of the Panhandle. This morning, dozens of volunteers gathered in the warehouse of All Face Food Bank in Sarasota. All Face Food Bank is hoping to feed 50,000 people impacted by the storm. They sent 2 emergency response teams to the Panhandle to help with relief efforts. All the boxes being packed up will be going to the only food bank now in Tallahassee. Crews also plan to drop donated food by helicopter in small rural areas that were hit hard by the storm. You can sign up to become a volunteer or drop off donations at All Faiths Food Bank on Blakey Court in East Sarasota. Some encouraging financial news for Hurricane Michael victims. Governor Scott has directed the state's top insurance regulator to freeze any potential property insurance rate increases for 90 days. Insurance companies will also have to rescind all policy non-renewals or cancellations that were issued in the days leading up to the storm so that homeowners have more time to find new coverage. Some hurricane victims may also be eligible for tax relief. Because of the recent disaster declaration, the IRS can postpone certain deadlines. Jacqueline joins us now. The latest on a suspicious death investigation out of Collier County.
Scott, detectives have identified the human remains found in Collier County as 55-year-old Sergio Hostens. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office has issued a warrant for the arrest of Daniel Davenport for the murder of Hostens. Hostens was a Sarasota resident who was reported missing on October 8th. Detectives have reason to believe Davenport may be in the Tampa Bay area driving Hostens' vehicle, a green Subaru Forester with a Florida license plate IE801K. Detectives are asking anyone who sees him or the described vehicle to call 911 immediately. Turkey and Saudi Arabia will conduct a joint inspection of the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, where Jamal Khashoggi was last seen nearly 2 weeks ago. As international outrage continues, the Saudi king denied any knowledge of Khashoggi's disappearance during a phone call with President Trump this morning. Still, the president said he would send the Secretary of State to Saudi Arabia.
The king firmly denied any knowledge of it. He didn't really know. Maybe, I don't want to get into his mind, but it sounded to me like maybe these could have been rogue killers.
A Saudi Arabian government newspaper today published a message reminding citizens it's a serious crime to post opinions online unless they are in support of the state. Massachusetts Senator and possible 2020 Democratic presidential hopeful Elizabeth Warren releasing the results of a DNA test. This comes in response to taunting by President Trump regarding Warren's claim that she has Native American heritage on her mother's side. Warren's test was administered by Carlos Bustamante, a Stanford genetics professor and advisor to Ancestry and 23andMe. In a video about her heritage, Warren spoke with Bustamante about those results.
Now, the president likes to call my mom a liar. What do the facts say?
The facts suggest that you absolutely have a Native American ancestor in your pedigree.
Trump has repeatedly suggested Warren is lying about her heritage, often referring to her as Pocahontas. He even offered to give $1 million to charity if Warren took a DNA test proving her Native American background. The video also addresses the White House's statement that Warren lied about her heritage to advance her career. Well, let's send it back to Scott for more on Medicare enrollment and the premiums that are expected right here in Florida. Scott?
That's right. The enrollment period for buying health insurance through the federal government starts today. And in Florida, premiums should be relatively low compared to previous years. Florida insurers requested the lowest premium hikes under so-called Obamacare since the law's inception, despite numerous obstacles from the Trump administration. The state's largest insurer, Florida Blue, requested an increase of less than 0.5%. Enrollment runs through December 7th. Still to come, the debate heats up over a former museum building on the Sarasota Bayfront. And strong winds from a storm in Scotland were so strong they managed to blow a waterfall in reverse. We'll show you that. Plus, we'll tell you the best time to buy your flights for the upcoming holidays.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut! It's the Ghetto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Ghetto dealership. ownership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Gettle's got it.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small, so Tom could have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Accords on sale is now during our model year-end sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for Accords, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly 1 in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Know your land, know your prey.
Saturdays at 5:30 and Sundays at 2 on the ABC 7 live stream. Download the all-new ABC 7 First Alert weather app now.
Sarasota City Commissioners are meeting now to talk about whether to save or knock down the former Gee Whiz Museum on Sarasota's Bayfront. That building has sat vacant now for 5 years since the museum went out of business. Prior to being a children's learning center, it was the county library. One city commissioner believes the city has to go along with the experts and the majority of public input. Otherwise, this entire project could be picked apart.
If we don't make the right decision and make the tough decision today, the whole future of the Bayfront Park and the idea that this can be a center green space for the whole community is set into a tailspin. And if we don't continue the momentum, then there's a chance that this ends up on the shelves collecting dust like so many projects have in the past.
Some preservationists believe the building should be saved and repurposed. City commissioners are also talking about downtown parking meters. Let's send it now to Jacqueline in the newsroom for a look at what's trending today.
Scott, a bear cub in Maryland is back in the woods today after getting a jar stuck on its head. Take a look at the video. Workers with the Wildlife Heritage Service tracked that animal for 3 days until they got it safely tranquilized and then were able to remove the jar. Local police also helped as well. Now, officials say after the rescue, the bear returned to the nearby woods near Wisp Ski Resort in Garrett County with 2 other bears. It is still unclear exactly how that jar got stuck on its head, but the bear appeared to be fine, so we're glad to hear that today. We'll never underestimate the power of a Dorito. Sheriff's deputies in San Bernardino, California used the chips to corral a runaway pig. That pig, which was quite large, was actually spotted in a neighborhood over the weekend. Quick-thinking deputies then grabbed the chips from a lunch bag that they had and made a trail for the pig to follow. Lucky for them, that pig was hungry, and soon enough, he was safe and sound back home. Well, 2 people walked away with just minor injuries after their plane crashed in Cladesta, Texas. The small fixed-wing airplane went down in the parking lot of an office complex on Friday morning. A parachute was deployed shortly after taking off from the Midland Air Park Airport. It landed on top of a parked company truck, as you can see right there. The FAA is now investigating. And take a look at this video. The winds from Storm Callum in the United Kingdom are so strong they are literally reversing waterfalls. Look at this waterfall being blown backwards at Tulseeker Beach on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. Storm Callum is the third named storm of the season for the UK. There are yellow warnings in place for heavy rain in that area. Now, rain was actually more of a factor for England and Wales than it was for Scotland, wind there being the biggest factor, as you can see with that waterfall. Let's send it back to Scott in the studio with a look at today's consumer news. Scott.
Jacqueline Sears is sinking. The previously dominant retail chain is filing for bankruptcy and will be closing its store in Bradenton. The company, which has been around for 132 years, has had financial issues over the past few years and has major debts. Sears was unable to pay a $134 million debt payment, which was due today. A liquidation sale will start immediately at its DeSoto Square Mall store. That store and more than 100 others across the country will close by the end of this year. If electric car maker Elon Musk gets his way, there could be a Tesla-branded tequila in the works. Tesla filing a trademark application last week for Teslaquila. However, the filing was made based on, quote, intent to use because the product isn't actually ready yet. Musk also posted that image there of what the bottle would look like, complete with a red and tan label emblazoned with Tesla's logo. So when should you buy tickets for the flight home for the holidays? Well, the travel website Kayak has looked at data from past years and crunched the numbers for answers. It turns out the best way to save money is to travel on the actual holidays. But if you don't want to cut things that close, the site suggests buying tickets a week before Thanksgiving, when the average ticket is about $359. Those heading home for Christmas, the sweet spot for the best deals, 4 weeks out, with an average round-trip ticket costing $374. Or just stay here in the Suncoast and enjoy the weather here.
And I can assure you by then, before Thanksgiving, it's going to get cooler here. We had a little taste of fall on Saturday. It was nice. I had tea time at 7:30 and temperatures were in the mid-60s, but nothing like that today. Good beach weather, though, with the water temperature at 83 degrees. A lot of folks out there and lots of sunshine, too. Some drier air has settled in, high pressure still under control, and it looks as though we're going to see a little return of moisture by Wednesday. Will give us a chance for a few showers. What we have here is a frontal system trying to approach. It's another cold front, but high pressure continues to dominate the weather and kind of hold this off right now. It's going to stay there, too. It's going to stay well to our north, so we'll stay in this hot sector, it looks like, for at least the next couple of days. Nothing to show you on the radar. All is quiet here. The evening planner looks good if you have any outdoor activities. It will be warm, though, 80 degrees by 11 o'clock. Just a few clouds around, but generally fair skies. And notice this little sea breeze that has kicked in. It's really pinned right near the coastline. There at Sarasota, it's coming out of the east. At Siesta Key, it's coming out of the west. And there's not much to it, but that would be the focus if we saw any spotty showers popping up this evening. Same goes true in Manasota Beach, also Rotunda, Port Charlotte, though it's out of the east at 5, Northport at 7 miles an hour. So the forecast does call for maybe 1 or 2 lone showers popping up, but then they'll move off into the Gulf rather quickly. They're not going to stick around all that long, and most areas won't get it. We are looking at a little bit more moisture coming back to play on Tuesday, but all in all, a fairly quiet day again, albeit hot with an east to southeast wind. You can bet we're going to approach some near record highs tomorrow, especially inland areas. Lows tonight, unseasonably warm into the mid-70s. Northport, you'll be right around 75 to start your Tuesday. Lakewood Ranch, the same, 76 in Braden, a little bit warmer near Anna Maria. These are summer-like low temperatures. It continues, it looks like, for the next couple of days, too. This will be similar to Wednesday morning. Well, the hourly planner for tomorrow, temperatures really warming up by noon, already 87 degrees. It'll feel more like 95 at that point. We'll get up to 90 again. Our average high right this time of year, 86, 87 degrees. So you get the picture. Well above average. There's that dry air I mentioned. You'll notice the general rotation here is in a clockwise fashion. That's that high pressure system located off the Carolina coast, and it will kind of keep our weather in control for a while. Then we'll see eventually a backdoor cold front come down on late Wednesday and into Thursday. Well, this marks the spot in the Western Caribbean, the same area that Michael flared up. And so it's kind of concerning, but the news is that it looks like it's going to continue on a westerly course and move over land. And so that's why we're not too concerned about it. A 40% chance of developing over the next 2 days. Now, if it stays a little bit further north and goes over the water here, it could become a tropical depression. Reconnaissance aircraft expected to investigate this area tomorrow. So we'll see how it plays out, but that'll be the one we'll watch over the upcoming days here. 87 degrees right now. The relative humidity is up there, and the feels like temperature 99, only 99, right? And a satellite picture showing that frontal boundary bringing some cooler weather and some clouds and showers. And look at Dallas now, 43 degrees, 54 in Cleveland, 52 in Detroit. No, we're not going to get this cold air down here anytime soon. It's going to stay pretty much where it is. It's not going to advance much because of that strong area of high pressure off the Carolina coast, kind of protecting us from getting any fronts anytime soon. East winds turn to the northwest at 10 knots tomorrow. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop out there on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature has cooled to 83 degrees. Here's the forecast then. No chance really for rain tomorrow, less than 20%. 40% chance, though, for a few scattered late day showers as some moisture returns on Wednesday. And then we see that little frontal system move in. You'll notice temperatures really don't cool all that much. We'll see that front kind of fade away. But the weekend is looking okay right now. Mid-80s, lows in the low 70s, and just a slight chance for a few late-day showers. Well, we're not done with the tropics quite yet. We still have over a month to go before the official end, and we'll be keeping an eye on that system, and long-range models are indicating another system trying to pop up before the season winds down. So download the ABC7 weather app. It's a free app. Just go to your app store and look for WWSB First Alert Weather.
Well, it's one of the strongest storms to ever hit the U.S. The number of dead continues to rise. Thousands more now homeless after these kind of scenes from Hurricane Michael. FEMA Director Brock Long touring the damage on Sunday with Florida Governor Rick Scott. It could take weeks for utility crews to fully restore power, and right now search and rescue missions continue for the 46 people still unaccounted for.
And that's why they say you have to have enough supplies for at least 7 days, because sometimes they can't get to you because of all the roads covered with debris. Officials say it could be days to weeks before everyone is accounted for. The lack of power and spotty cell phone service add to the challenges of emergency response crews as people return to the rubble of their home. Florida Panhandle communities residents are lining up at community centers for bottled water and ready-to-eat meals.
It's just misery after a storm of this magnitude.
It's 90 there too now.
Well, deadly floods are severely affecting parts of southern France today. At least 13 people have died in the Aude region, which is the area that has been most affected. 3 months worth of rain fell in only 6 hours overnight. A dam is in the process of overflowing, and those living in nearby village have been now evacuated.
350 local firefighters, supported by 160 policemen, are working to keep people safe from the floodwaters. In addition, several helicopters have been sent to the region to help with relief efforts. As you see right there, it's just another devastating weather event taking place right there in France.
Across the world. All right, Bob, thank you. Still to come, the Halloween spirit came alive at an underwater pumpkin carving contest in Key Largo. I'll show you some of the creations when we come back.
I'm Linda Carson from Suncoast View. Coming up Tuesday morning live at 9, mature women pose for a nude calendar. Manatee Players previews their new show Calendar Girls, and we learn why these prim and proper ladies take it all off. A new trend in mammograms may be raising the risk of breast cancer. We tour new construction in Suncoast for sale, and Hosted Gourmet is in the kitchen. That's coming up tomorrow morning live at 9.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S. and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do.
Call us at 1-800-485-6000. That's 1-800-485-6000.
Or go to mesoonlylaw.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live. I live. She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Moat's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Moat Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Moat Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
A home can be much more than just a house. But for some of our neighbors, home means uncertainty and isolation. At Rebuilding Together, we turn houses into homes and revitalize our communities. Because a neighborhood is more than just houses and streets. It's familiar faces and open arms. Join the movement to ensure everyone can live in a safe home and community. Become a rebuilder today.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
With their favorite marine creatures in mind, a group of scuba divers got together 30 feet beneath the surface in the Florida Keys to carve some underwater jack-o'-lanterns. It was all part of an annual carving contest in Key Largo. Divers transforming their pumpkins into sea creatures. They were also challenged to keep the naturally buoyant pumpkins from floating off while they carved. Some of the entries included a dolphin, shark, seahorse, sea turtles, and a skeleton fish. Pretty talented people right there. How about that clear water, too? Let's get now to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with our final look at our evening forecast.
Now here's an orange sky for you last night, and you can see some of those crepuscular rays. Those are storms way out in the Gulf. The sun, actually the sun's rays casting a shadow, or at least the clouds casting a shadow on the skies here along the sun coast by Skip Ross. East winds at 5 to 10 tonight. There's a slight chance for an isolated shower if you're going to be strolling on the area beaches right around 7:05 sunset. And we're going to have an update on this, too, coming up at 5 o'clock. It's looking a little healthier on the satellite imagery. The one thing going that's good is it's close enough to land. The bad thing is it's going to cause excessive rainfall and the possibility of a lot of flooding down in Nicaragua and Honduras as well as it makes its way to the west. A reconnaissance aircraft will be investigating this area as early as tomorrow afternoon if necessary. If it stays out and looks a little bit more impressive on the satellite imagery, they'll go down there and just check it out and see if it hasn't developed already. There does appear to be some circulation and rotation that just gives you the little notion that we're not done yet with hurricane season. 87 right now. Scott, back to you.
Bob, thank you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again at 5 o'clock.